Hey you guys, so it's been a little while since Twin Flame Talks. I have felt some stuff that Spirit has been preparing to talk about. I don't know how to explain it really. I guess you could say like downloads that I've been receiving, but I knew it wasn't time yet. I've been like jotting down notes here and there, but reading some stuff on Facebook Twin Flame groups earlier kind of triggered this start now. It basically gave me where Spirit wants to begin. And I know that Spirit is ready for the other information to come through now too. So I'm not really sure all of the ways or areas this is going to cover. I'm just going to keep going and let Spirit lead. I'm not sure how many videos this is going to take, just so you know. I'm just going to start here on TikTok to start with the TikTok audience, do as many videos as it takes, and then cut them together for Instagram and YouTube, and just follow along because to be honest, I don't really know either. We're just going with it. We're going with Spirit. I know that Spirit wants to talk about basically summarizing Twin Flames and the Twin Flame journey, which we have talked about to some extent, but there's new aspects that Spirit wants to cover here. And it started from what I was reading earlier about people asking questions like, how do I find my twin flame? And how do I know if someone is my twin flame? And, but primarily it's from the perspective of people searching for their twin flame because they've heard of twin flames now and they think this is the ultimate relationship and they are trying to find it. But there's just, the Facebook groups drive me insane because there's just so much misinformation and negativity and just wrong information. And this is one of those things, you know, because we're in the times of ascension and more people are finding their twin flames, the term has become more well known, and just random Joe Schmo is looking for his twin flame or her twin flame, and they don't understand that this is not what they think it is. There's such a romanticized, idealized version of twin flames out there that is not true or accurate, and drives me a little insane. Like, I want to shake these people and be like, you shouldn't be looking for your twin flame. If you even have a twin flame, you will find them like naturally when and how you are meant to, and you will start your twin flame journey. But it is not the romanticized thing that you think it is. So we just need to get this straight, okay? Hold that thought. So the first thing we need to cover is that twin flames are not this romanticized, perfect relationship that these people are imagining. Like, they're hearing twin flames are better than soulmates, they're higher than soulmates, and they think that's what I want, that's what I need to find, all of this stuff. But that's not really true. It is true once you achieve union, but union is the end of the twin flame journey, and it literally takes years to achieve. And honestly, anyone who thinks that it takes less is living in a delusional world that they want to believe is true. Sorry to tell you that. I mean, there may be some exceptions, especially because as there's more and more waves, and the later waves are going through their journeys. Like, I do believe that they're going to be able to go through their journeys faster than the beginning waves, because like the beginning waves, like the first wave and second, third, etc., are like paving the way and making it easier. But it's a massive metamorphosis, like literally like a butterfly. Like, we are caterpillars, we go into the cocoon, we get turned into goo, and we come out butterflies. And that is not something that happens overnight. It takes time. At the very least, it takes months. At the very least. I would be shocked if someone's twin flame journey was less than a year. Shocked. I have not met anybody whose twin flame journey is less than a year. And the vast majority of the time is years. Okay? Now, like I said, that doesn't always have to be the case. Spiritual warfare affects 50% of twin flames. If you do the work to get rid of the spiritual warfare and to do the necessary healing for your twin flame journey, that can speed up the process, because you're removing the blocks and the obstacles. However, you're both still going through the healing process and the transformation process, so that still takes time. So you can remove all the spiritual warfare, but you still have to wait for your twin flame to get through the transformation. So like I was saying, don't delude yourselves into thinking that this is a quick process. It's not. And it is a very, very difficult and painful process because our insides are literally being reconfigured by spirit, by your own souls, okay? You're integrating your higher selves into your human, and I'm just laughing at the terminology. And I'm going to run out of time. But you're being reconfigured by spirit, your thought processes, your beliefs, everything is changing, and it's painful and difficult. Hold that thought. Okay, I'm a little frustrated because there's just so much to cover, and I feel like I'm going to go off on tangents and keep having to find my original point again. So let me try and cover the stuff that I've already started. So like I was saying, the twin flame journey, it's not about the relationship, okay? It's a massive spiritual rebirth process, butterfly process for us as humans to remember who we are at a soul level, to live, to reach ascension, to reach enlightenment and ascension, to help change the world in the process because our souls chose to do that. Our souls already graduated Earth, already ascended, and chose to return as twin flames, with our soul splitting into two bodies, and chose to come help humanity through ascension. And that's what's going on right now. That's what you're going through. But it's a process, and it is difficult and painful. It's the worst roller coaster ride you're ever going to go on in your whole life. It's worth it in the end. The relationship is the reward. It's the carrot that is dangled in front of you to help you persevere through it. And yes, once you get to the end, the relationship will be that ultimate relationship. It will be that good because you will have a love that is unlike any other, and it's a love that transcends lifetimes and transcends worlds. Like that person, that other soul is the other half of you that, goes to other worlds and planets and dimensions with you for the rest of all eternity. So yes, it is the ultimate soul connection, spiritual marriage. It overrides all other relationships. It doesn't matter if one of you or both of you are married when you meet. It overrides all other relationships. And people also need to realize that all other relationships are not necessarily permanent. There's such a huge other perspective of life once you go through this spiritual awakening process. And that's that we are souls here on a soul journey meant to learn all of these soul growth lessons in order to reach graduation, to reach enlightenment, to be able to leave the earth school behind and move on to higher dimensions, which is other worlds, which is whatever heaven really is, etc., etc. And like I said, yes, your twin flame is the ultimate connection in that. However, not everybody has a twin flame, for one. And all of this talk about twin flames has people looking for twin flames who don't even have one, for one thing. Okay, so there's their first problem. They're looking for someone that may or may not exist because they might not be ready for ascension yet. Hold that thought. Okay, so where I left off, we have people out there looking for a twin flame that don't even have a twin flame. People need to focus on soulmates because the vast majority of the world has soulmates. They don't have twin flames. They are not ready for ascension yet. They are still going through Earth School. I'll explain Earth School later, okay? But so there's the first problem. And you can consider twin flames like the ultimate soulmate. However, there's only 144,000 twin flames, and there's 144,000 twin rays. They're basically like group 1 and group 2. Twin flames are 100% ready for ascension this cycle. They are ready to help. Not only are they ready, they're committed. Their souls, not their humans, but their souls are committed to achieving union and just surviving the journey and the process this time around to help humanity through ascension. Twin rays, really close. Like, they could do it this go around, but they still have some big lessons to work through, and not all of them are ready to make it through yet. Some of them will give up on defeating spiritual warfare. Some of them will give up in general. They'll be given the option of a soulmate almost as a test, really. I feel like. I don't know where that came from. That must be spirit. Because I don't know that for sure, just so we're aware. But yeah, like, they might be given the option of a soulmate as a test to see which one they choose. And if they choose a soulmate, it's not their time yet. Now, twin flames might have a soulmate temporarily, but they will always go back to their twin flames ultimately. And soulmates cannot override twin flames. Nothing and no other relationship can override twin flames. No, even if you're married first before you meet. I can't remember what I talked about, what I didn't talk about yet. So sorry if I'm repetitive. But twin rays are different because they're not 100% ready yet. And they have the capacity to achieve union and ascension this lifetime, but it's not 100% guaranteed. So their choices do affect their journey, we'll say. I still don't know a lot about twin rays. There's more to learn. And I've only just started channeling information about twin rays since the beginning of July. But I'm going to leave that subject behind because that's a whole nother subject. Point being, there's 144,000 twin flames, 144,000 twin rays. If you are not in one of those two groups, you don't have a twin flame. So stop looking for one. Okay? There's point number 1. Okay, so point number 2 is that there is this romanticized and idealized version of twin flames out there that has all these people searching for their twin flame that is just not true. Yes, once you achieve union and you both are healed and ready for this connection, like, is a love like no other. Like, you can't imagine how much you're going to love this person, even when it doesn't make sense. But, like, yeah, it really will be amazing. And you are perfect for each other naturally because you're split from the same soul. The relationship will be worth it in the long run, and it is the highest version of a soulmate, but it is a long journey and process, and it's difficult and painful because you're going through these massive internal changes during the process, and people don't understand that. They think they're just going to meet their twin flame and it's going to be this amazing soulmate relationship, and it is not a soulmate relationship. So if you see someone who's like, how do I meet my twin flame? Smack them across the face and tell them to go live their life and be happy and see who comes into their lives and what happens, and just go with the flow. And if they have a twin flame, welcome to the journey. And if not, be happy with whoever you find. Be happy with a soulmate. You congratulations if you get a soulmate. You get the easier, happier life. It also means, well, I shouldn't say happier life. At least you get the easier life. Let's say that, okay? Because I do believe that twin flames all have a happier life ultimately, but they have to get through the process first. And it does take years. So mine has taken 9 years, okay? But anyway, so yes, please educate those that you find who are misinformed about that, because they're getting the wrong information from the wrong sources, and it's very frustrating to see. Okay, so now let's talk about the twin flame journey. There's something I was just gonna say. I was talking about how it's a spiritual rebirth. Oh, okay. I already talked about this a little bit. The relationship is the carrot that is being dangled in front of you to get through the journey. Okay, so the twin flame journey is actually, it's not about the relationship. It's about your rebirth process, both of yours, you and your twins, your spiritual rebirth process that you are going through. Okay, and the relationship is what helps you survive the journey, which is kind of funny to say because people wouldn't think that, since the relationship can make it so difficult at the same time, but it's the truth. Hold on. So as I've said a couple times now, the journey is about the spiritual rebirth. And really, we wouldn't be able to survive the journey or persevere through it if we didn't have the relationship being dangled in front of us and didn't have the connection being dangled in front of us. Like, we would try really hard to give up. Now, the funny thing about twin flames is that because of our souls choosing this path, and choosing to be of service to humanity through ascension, soul will overrides free will for twin flames. That might not be the case for twin rays. I have to talk to spirit about that, just so you're aware. There might be more of an interplay between free will and soul will for twin rays. But for twin flames, soul will overrides free will. And so we don't really have the choice of getting off the journey. But the journey is just that difficult and painful that we almost need the relationship to have something to strive for, something to keep chasing or pursuing, in order to, it's what gives us hope. It's what gives us strength. I can't talk. It's what gives us strength. Spirit gives us strength too. Like, there was definitely a portion of my twin flame journey early on in the spiritual warfare years that I can tell you 100% God carried me through it, and helped me find my way. For the masculines, I think the divine feminines are their strength, whether or not they realize it. They become that like beacon or lighthouse, guiding them home to their true selves and home to the connection. So yeah, the best way that I can explain it is that the relationship and the connection is the reward. It's the carrot being dangled in front of you, and it's the reward for getting through the journey. But the twin flame journey in itself is not about the relationship. It's about the spiritual metamorphosis that you're going through, which is integrating your soul with your human, going through the last of your soul growth lessons and healing, defeating any spiritual warfare that has been affecting you literally your entire soul lifetime on earth, like not just this lifetime. And just kind of going through the spiritual birth canal. That's what it is. That's why it's painful, because you're going through the spiritual birth canal. Hold that thought. So yeah, we are in the process of birthing new versions of ourselves. Like, we are the ones birthing ourselves. Our 3D is birthing our new 5D versions of ourselves. And that is why it's so painful. Just imagine the birth canal that you're going through. And your twin is the light at the end of the tunnel, the literal birth canal tunnel. And yeah, this is why it's a roller coaster ride. This is why it's so painful. And this is why the relationship is the reward and is the carrot at the other end of that. But I don't want to keep dwelling on that. Let's move on. So let's just get it straight, though. Basically, it's not about the relationship, okay? It's about becoming this new and improved version of yourself that is the best version of yourself, is the healed version of yourself, and is your soul integrated with your human. And also with your twin, but we'll come back to that. Okay, let's talk about what the journey is like for a second. Okay, first of all, I created this or channeled this analogy when I was talking to a client not too long ago. So the journey is like a continuous spiral of lessons and healing. So you meet your twin. The meeting your twin is a catalyst for going through this process that I've just been explaining in multiple different ways already, so I'm not going to repeat them. And actually, I realized as I was saying that not everybody meets their twin first. I don't know what the percentage is, but there is a percentage of twin flames who don't meet in person first. They are shown by spirit in visions, or they see a picture of them or a video of them or something, and they have this massive, like, almost like a lightning bolt hitting them and epiphany. I can't explain what that's like because that's not my experience, but I know that there is a percentage or portion of twin flames who they don't meet first. Okay, so just take that into consideration if that could be you. But for everybody else, you meet your twin flame. It doesn't matter how much you get involved. Like, you could be acquaintances, you could be married, you could be acquaintances, or you could actually have a full-blown relationship with them and get married. But you will still go through the journey and the process when you are supposed to. Okay, hold that thought. Okay, so you meet, you have whatever extent of a relationship you're going to have before you enter the transformation stage, I guess we'll call it. And like I said, there are some twins who are together for years and even get married before they enter the transformation stage. So you meet, you're a catalyst for triggering each other's healing, and then you're going to go into separation. The vast majority of twin flames go into separation. I think I know one twin flame who has not gone into separation, and drives me crazy because of the twin flame teachers who tell you don't have to go into separation. It's not necessary. Blah 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 blah. I don't want to go off on what they say right now because that's a whole nother subject. The way that I see it and understand it is that separations are necessary. Okay, they are a necessary part of the process because the relationship would be a distraction from the transformation and from the healing that you're going through, so you wouldn't process it and you wouldn't grow the way you're meant to if you were together. Plus, like, it's such a significant change that you're going through as individuals that you almost need to, like, disconnect and come back together and in these new and improved versions of yourselves, and then get to know each other all over again. And there's even lessons that happen over the course of that as well. Separations don't have to be no contact. You can have contact, but it just depends on each person's individual journey. Each twin's journey is unique and happens exactly how it is supposed to. So some of you have no contact, some of you do. Some of you are even involved to some extent during separation. Some of you aren't. But during the separation period, and honestly, during the separation period, any of those things can happen. You can have times where you're no contact, you can have times where you're involved, but it's still all the separation period. You can have times that you are not just involved, but you're in a full-blown relationship again, but you're not in union yet because you're not done getting through the healing and transformation process yet, and you can end up in another separation. There can be more than one separation. You're going to do that however many times and for however long it takes until you're both fully ready for union. I think I was gonna say for human. But yes, you can come together and apart and together. I still can't talk. Together and apart and together and apart, however many times it takes until you guys are ready. So don't think that the second you come back together, that means you're in union. It does not mean you're in union yet, okay? And the first meeting is definitely not union. Yeah, definitely not. So hold that thought. And so during the separation process, which is the majority of the time of the twin flame journey, because the beginning stage is usually the beginning stage where you first meet and you're together, usually isn't that long. Then and union is the end. So the separation phase is the longest period of time. And I would even include the reunion phase at the end in the separation period, because and I'll get to that, and I'll explain why when I get to that. So the separation phase is the majority of the time of the twin flame journey, and what you're going through is this spiral of lessons and healing. There can be multiple cycles throughout that because there can be multiple karmic cycles, and one of the most important things for both twins to realize is that if the other twin has a karmic partner, or if the other twin has a karmic partner, They are supposed to. They are meant to go through that relationship to learn the lessons from it, okay? And that relationship is usually going to bring about a dark night of the soul that is going to bring profound healing. A dark night of the soul sucks, but it brings a person to their rock bottom to force them to see that there is a better way for them and to start making the changes in their life to achieve that. It breaks them like it is supposed to, because it is breaking them of their 3D existence and raising them up to what they are meant to achieve from a higher perspective. And karmic relationships are more often than not toxic, and they are more often than not going to push the twin through that dark night of the soul process, and they're going to come out the other side better ultimately, even though it's going to be rough. I paused before because I truly believe that all twins have karmic situations of some type. Both divine masculine and divine feminine have karmic situations that they work through as part of their healing. It's part of them learning to overcome certain obstacles, wounds, lessons, etc. A lot of time that's a karmic partner, but it's not always a karmic partner. It can be a family member, it can be a parent, it can be friends, it can be someone at work, it can be the actual work themselves, it can be their own ego. But everybody has a karmic situation basically, and a lot of times it's a karmic partner. And if it's a karmic partner, that is meant to happen as well. That relationship is meant to happen in order for the lesson. So you have to accept it and be okay with it. Okay, hold on. So as I was saying, throughout the separation phase, you're just going to keep going around this spiral of lessons and healing that is going to include the karmic situations and the karmic partners, the karmic cycles, which is the process of integrating those lessons. And it's like peeling an onion back, because there's multiple layers to an onion, right? So each layer or whatever, each level of the spiral, you're getting to deeper layers of the healing needed for yourself and the transformation needed for yourself. So, at the surface, you're peeling back the beginning of your abandonment wounds or self-worth wounds or attachment disorder, and you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper. The beginning of the separation phase is so painful because you're at the surface level of all of those wounds. The deeper you get into the wounds and in the healing process, the less painful it is. And the more you are able to reach different levels of surrender and trust and faith. And those are the lessons that Spirit is teaching you. I mean, divine feminines across the board, patience, blind faith, trust, surrender, like those are your biggest lessons. The blind faith is huge. Patience, letting go of timing and trusting the process, trusting divine alignment and divine timing is huge. Like Spirit forces you to let go of those things and trust, and let go of control over how. Like one of the biggest things that I see is divine feminines trying to pressure the divine masculines and give ultimatums and all these different things. They're trying to get them to see, how the divine masculine is affecting the divine feminine. But the thing is that the divine feminine doesn't understand is that divine masculine is not capable of doing what you want him to do until he gets through his side of the healing process. And you don't want to rush it. You want him to be ready, because otherwise you're just going to keep going into separations until he's ready. So you have to let go. You have to surrender control and have faith in the process and just allow it to be what it needs to be. And it's just going to be that continual spiral of lessons and healing, getting you guys deeper to your core authentic selves and your higher self, your soul self, integrating it, getting through your spiritual awakening process, coming into all these massive spiritual realizations and whatever through your crown chakra, and preparing you for ascension. When you get to the end of it, you will understand it all in hindsight. All of the puzzle pieces will fit together, but not till you get to the end. Okay, I'm almost done. I don't know if it'll be in this video, but I'm almost done. Okay, so one of the important things to remember during the separation period is, this came to me just the other day and it's perfect. When your twin goes into silence, if you're in a no contact stage and your twin goes into silence, understand that this is because certain growth needs to happen in silence. There have been times where, even with my twin and I being in the reunion phase, and we've been in the reunion phase for a year and a half. I'll explain what that is in a minute. But even in the reunion phase, when we're in good terms, he will go silent on me for periods of time. And that was tough at first. Like, I wanted to be like, why are you ghosting me? Again. But when I would check in with my own advisors on what's going on, or I would ask Spirit myself, the answers that I would get is that he's going through a spiritual growth process, and Spirit is like, connecting dots in his head and connecting puzzle pieces and helping him to understand things better. And that, did you see that? And that is a necessary part of the process for him. And he needs that introspection period. So think of it like a computer downloading updates. This is what came to me the other day, and I was like, it's perfect. When your computer is downloading updates, there's nothing you can do except leave it alone. Sit and wait for it. You can't even use it. You can't even use your computer when it's downloading updates. You have to just go do something else, let it do its downloads, let it reboot, and then you can start using it again. So that's what's going on. And this is why there are periods of silence in the connection and periods of no contact. I mean, some of the no contact is other reasons as well, especially earlier on in the journey when they're dealing with karmics more and learning the lessons. But especially later on when you're getting closer to union, like the periods of silence that come up is necessary soul growth. And it's your twin and yourself actually are downloading updates. You're downloading updates from Spirit, crown chakra, third eye updates, and you can't work together during that period. You have to just hold space for each other and be understanding that that's what they're going through, okay? So I really loved that analogy when it came to me. Now, another thing that I want to explain, this was another great one that came through a client that I did a coaching call with. But I'm going to start on the next video because I'm too close to the end. So we got to cover reunion phase and this soul merging thing. Hold that thought. Okay, first let's cover reunion phase. This won't take long. So after this long separation of all of this transformation and healing, reunion stage is what's going to come before union. I used to call it divine union under construction, but that's kind of long. So we're sticking with reunion. And it's basically where you're getting reacquainted with each other, okay? You're in contact again, even if it's sporadic at times, okay? And you both know what this connection is. You both want it. You're both moving in that same direction. You're just not 100% ready yet. You're still working out some stuff, whether that's final healing, which is very possible, but it could also be, not related to the healing and instead be about, it's probably going to be a little bit of both, but it can also be about the logistics of a karmic situation. So like, for example, with my twin, it's largely about the logistics of him sorting out his karmic situation because it's complex, because the karmic partner, of course, tried to make it as difficult as possible for him to leave. So an aspect of that is dealing with karmic logistics. An aspect of that is working through any final healing. Like, I know we've been breaking through heart chakra and sacral chakra walls and wounds, and also breaking through like fears that are created by the twin flame journey itself, because it can feel like it's been so long. Like, is it really actually going to happen? And you have like struggle sometimes, but you believe it, but then at the last second you'll be like, is it really? Is it really gonna happen? So it's kind of breaking through that stuff. So the reunion phase is working through that stuff. You're on good terms. You're headed in the right direction. You're on the same page. And also, here's the fun part. Spirit puts you in a vice and is basically squeezing out every last little bit of negative energy or fears or anything remaining that needs to be squeezed out of you before you're ready for union. So look forward to that during the reunion phase, okay? Because I have to say, I was surprised at how much of that I went through in the last year and a half. I thought all was good. I thought I was well surrendered, but I did go through more purging than I expected to. And that's what that is. It's spirit preparing you for union and making sure that all the last of that is squeezed out, okay? Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention is about the soul merging process. So what it feels like on that level, which is something that I didn't even think about until recently with this coaching session. It was great because my client was like, after you meet your twin, it's there. This is what my client said. It's like they're an uninvited guest in your mind who's made themselves at home and you can't make them leave. And that's what it feels like in not being able to turn the thoughts off. Like they're always there. So yeah, you meet your twin. They take up residence in your brain. They've made themselves at home. They're an uninvited guest. You can't get rid of them. You can't turn off the thoughts and the feelings, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And let me tell you how amazing it is that I love my twin more now than I did years ago when we were together, because the love just keeps growing. Like the more you get through the journey, the more you love this person. And that's what I mean when I say it doesn't make sense. Like any other person in the world who's not a twin flame does not understand the twin flame journey, because in the beginning, you're both wounded and not behaving correctly and even hurting each other at times. And then you go into separation, but you can't end the connection. You can't break free. You can't move on, and people don't understand why you can't move on. And then before you come together, or as you're in the process of coming together, you love them more than you've ever loved anyone in your whole entire life. And you've never even, sometimes, most of the time, you've never even properly been in a relationship yet. So it's like, how does this make sense? But it makes sense at a soul level, because this is what we're on, okay? We're not going to try and understand it beyond that. It's your soul path, okay? But anyway, so I loved that analogy that she said, that they're an uninvited guest in your home. And it got me thinking about the soul merging process. And so we know that twin flames come from the same soul. So once they take up residence in your brain, inside your body, it's your soul slowly merging back together. And that's why, like, they're always there. Like, that's another thing. They're always there. Like, it doesn't matter if you're actively thinking about them. You can feel them there. Like, I remember early on, I would get chakra healing or something. And I actually felt my twin's higher self come lay next to me, which was crazy. I felt my twin's higher self, like, hold my hand, kiss my forehead, or something like that, put his arms around me. And I remember feeling those distinct experiences in meditation and during these healing sessions early on in the journey, in the separation periods. And the further along the journey that I got, the less I felt that. But the reason why I felt it less is because our souls are more merged. And now I always feel his energy. He's always there. Like, even if I'm not actively thinking about him because I'm distracted with something else, he's always right there. He's always a thought. He's always a consideration, and his energy is always right there. And I always know how he's feeling or what emotions he's going through. Like, it just always, like, I don't even know how to, I don't want to dwell on the period where you might be suicidal thinking about trying to break the connection, but I have to say that, like, that's part of it, because you literally, especially if you're in a bad separation, you literally can't turn off the thoughts, can't turn off the feelings, you feel their energy, or you feel them with you all the time, and you can't imagine spending the rest of your life living like that, but not being able to be with them. And a lot of people, even your own twin sometimes, can't understand that until they get to a certain point in the journey, or can't ever understand that if it's someone who's not a twin flame, because you don't want to spend the rest of your life living like that, and making it impossible for you to move on with someone else, and making it impossible for you to be happy, and nothing and no one else can replace that. And it makes you feel like you're stuck in a holding pattern, like circling an airport, and you can't land, and you just feel like, get me off this plane. And your twin has to give permission to land. But anyway, so but I did have that conscious thought process about this is why how much you, feel your twin changes and evolves as you go through the journey, because they start off as that uninvited guest, but as your souls are merging into union, more in the 5D, you are feeling their energy differently. And it starts off as where you're able to distinctly feel their energy separately and then joining you, like when you do healings and meditation. But as you are more combined in union, you don't feel the distinction as much. You just always feel their energy with you, and that's the souls merging process. It's also why you can't turn it off. So I think that's everything about that. So you meet, separation phase is together and apart and together and apart, blah, blah, blah. Dealing with karmic cycles, karmic situations and partners and all that stuff. Eventually you'll get to the reunion phase. The reunion phase can still involve the karmic partners and situations. It's like the process of dealing all that stuff and discarding it. And then you'll finally head towards union. I think that is most everything to cover as far as the summary of the journey goes. There's a few other things I want to talk about real quick that's more on the twin flame journey in perspective of ascension. And this might not be, like, not all of you are going to be ready for this. This is going to be higher crown chakra downloads coming for you, but it just gives you one more layer of understanding, okay? Okay, so I paused to think about where to start with this, and I don't want to go on forever, but this is broad as well. So I'm going to try and keep it succinct, especially since this is advanced. But Earth is a school for souls. And there's many Earths throughout the universes. And it's the 3D reality of Earth. Like when someone's referring to 3D, it's because it's the third dimension. It's very dense. It's a very low vibration. Souls choose to come here and incarnate in these human bodies in order to learn certain what did I just say? To learn certain soul lessons and go through certain soul growth. I have heard from an Akashic Records reader that there is literally a wait list of souls to come to Earth, which I'm like, are they crazy? We should go tell them all that they're crazy. Turn around and go somewhere else. But that's what Earth is, okay? There is a dimension where souls reside when they're not incarnated on a planet. And I believe that is what heaven is. And I know that it's the 11th dimension. I know this because I've discussed it with Spirit. I've discussed it with Jesus. We'll get into my conversations with Spirit and Jesus in a little bit. Apparently this is going to be longer. So, but anyway, there are many Earth schools, and the purpose of Earth schools is souls choosing to come here to learn their lessons, to ascend and graduate and be able to live in the higher dimensions. Most of the higher dimensions from 6D to 9D are other worlds, other planets in this galaxy and other galaxies that are just higher dimensional, that they are not as dense as Earth. Earth being 3D has a lot of evil in it as well. It has 2D, 3D, 4D astral negative demons and entities. But I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think from 6D to 9D, most of those worlds should not have those lower dimensional evil spirits. I can't say 100% though. I have heard that there are higher dimensional evil spirits as well, but they might have their own worlds and not coexist with us in the higher dimensional worlds. But anyway, so the purpose of Earth is it's like going to school. It's like going to K through 12 school. Okay, so I've already missed the twin flame topic on this. Twin flames are here to help us ascend. Now hold that thought. I'm going to link it back to twin flames. Just give me a minute, okay? So, Earth School is like K through 12, kindergarten through 12th grade for US. I don't know what it is for other countries, but it's like mandatory school from childhood to when you graduate. So once a soul comes to Earth, you cannot leave Earth until you graduate. You have to reach enlightenment and ascend in order to graduate and leave Earth. And that's where the twin flames come in. So, I mean, I believe that, and this is something I would have to confirm with Spirit, but I believe that you can ascend and leave Earth along the way, along the process of your Earth life, if you're not in the ultimate ascension cycle. But we happen to be in the ultimate ascension cycle. Ascension cycles are 26,000 years, and this is the end of an ascension cycle, which is all the more reason why there are so many twin flames here. Like, when you're not at the end of an ascension cycle, there's not going to be so many twin flames here all at once, because the end of the ascension cycle is also bringing the entire Earth into a new cycle of development. So Earth went through the Lemurian stage. That was one ascension cycle. And it went through the Atlantean stage. That was another ascension cycle. And I don't even know, I can't remember what they called this stage. Aquarius? I don't know. So whatever this stage has been from Atlantis until now has been its own cycle. And the fall of Atlantis was actually like bringing Earth down, like lower. And evil was allowed to take over and run rampant and go toe-to-toe with the light. And the light has not been, in charge the whole time during this cycle. But we are at the end of this ascension cycle, and the twin flames are here to help humanity as a whole and help Earth as a whole, finish this ascension process and leave this cycle behind. Twin flames are ascending and moving on. Now, some of them might come back, and they might choose to do another ascension cycle, but they don't have to necessarily. They can move on to other higher dimensions. And anybody who is not a twin flame, or anybody, actually I shouldn't say that. Twin flames are definitely ascending. There are other people who are ascending as well, but it's not 100% guaranteed. Twin flames are ascending. So we are here, we are at Earth School, we have gone through our K through 12 school soul growth training, and twin flames are ascending, are reaching enlightenment, and are helping humanity and the world to ascend at the end of this ascension cycle as well. Now hold that thought. Okay, so when it comes to twin rays, they may be assisting with this ascension cycle, but if they ultimately are not ready to yet, they are going to be assisting with the next ascension cycle, or the next round of ascension, even if potentially it comes before the whole 26,000 year cycle. That I'm not 100% sure of, because again, I only know so much. I know a lot because I have a lot of God conversations with Spirit and with Jesus now, but and I also have learned a lot from studying certain spiritual teachers such as Dolores Cannon, but that one I don't know because twin rays are brand new information, and there's very limited information you can find about twin rays out there, and I'm directly channeling what I know, so that remains to be seen. But anyway, okay, so one of the things that we need to understand about Earth School is that we are not meant to just come here, live a cushy life, meet someone, meet a soulmate, marry, and stay together for the rest of our lives, and that's it. Like that, yes, that's what everyone strives for, but that's not what we're meant to do. We are meant to, as souls, to come here to learn specific lessons, and in each lifetime, our soul signs up for specific lessons, and then eventually reach enlightenment and ascend. So we are meant to go through good things and bad things, not just have a cushy life. And every relationship that we have soul contracts with that person, those people, whatever. And those soul contracts define what the relationship is supposed to be like whether it's good or it's bad. And our souls, along with God, creator, source, however you think of it, design our soul paths before we even incarnate. Our souls in the 11th dimension, before they incarnate into these lifetimes, they literally see a preview, like a trailer of what our lives are going to be like and know what they're getting themselves into before choose. And they also, I believe, play a role in designing it. That is what I have channeled. I have heard different things from the Life Between Lives hypnosis practitioners, but from what I have channeled, our souls play a role in designing our lives. I think that they see like the broad aspects of the journey, and then get into the nitty gritty once they make their choices on what lessons they're signing up for. Okay. So that's why I say for twin flames, soul will overrides free will, because our souls already knew before incarnating that they are going on a twin flame journey, that they are meant to help humanity with ascension, and they don't have a choice. Like, your souls have made that choice, and your human does not have the choice to get off the journey or to abandon your soul mission. That is your soul mission, okay? So, like I was saying, our souls are presented with the options, the lessons, the soul contracts before incarnating. You know who your parents are, you know who your kids are, and you know how your life is going to play out. Your soul does, okay? Your human brain does not remember, but your soul knows. And the journey throughout your lifetimes is the process of regaining all of this knowledge, reaching enlightenment and awakening and ascension. So every relationship, every connection that you have, the ones of substance, I will say, have soul contracts of what the relationship is supposed to be like, what lessons you're supposed to learn from each other. If you have a, difficult relationship with your parents, that's in your soul contract. You are supposed to. That is part of your soul lessons for a reason. I can't tell you why exactly. You may have chosen to go through difficult soul lessons with your own parents, whether that includes abuse, abandonment, or something like that, but your souls did sign up for that, or you're going through it for a reason. Spiritual warfare is part of your soul contract. 50% of twin flames experience spiritual warfare, and it is part of your soul contracts and your soul journey that you signed up for, and you have to get through it. It's part of your soul lessons. It's part of twins who go through spiritual warfare are on warrior paths for a reason, because your missions here on earth through ascension are beyond just as a twin flame helping humanity by raising their vibration through the twin flame journey process and coming to understand and embody unconditional love, which is the core process for twin flames. But twin flames on a spiritual warfare journey as well, they are also helping to defeat the evil in the world during the ascension process, to help raise Earth up to 5D and eventually 6D, to rid the world of evil. And so if you're on a spiritual warfare journey as well, there is a much greater reason for that also. That spirit, like, you're going through that because Spirit's preparing you for the ultimate battles when we get further along in the ascension process. Okay, I just channeled that. I knew it to some extent, but I just channeled more of it. I also forgot something, but I'm at the end, so I have to start a new one. Hold on that. Let me start with what I forgot. Going back to the soul contracts, one of the biggest things that we need to understand about the soul contracts is that we have been taught to believe that by corrupt religion and society and governments, that you find the person you're going to marry, and you marry them, and you spend the rest of your life with them. And if you don't do that, you are a failure, and you have broken the home, and you have fucked up your kids, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is not true. Every single person has certain relationships with soul contracts that some are meant to last and some are not. Twin flames are always meant to last. Soulmates can be either. Soulmates can be meant to last permanently, or they can be meant to be temporary. But just like I was saying how karmic relationships are meant to be, they are meant to happen for a temporary period of time. Karmic relationships can be marriages. One of the biggest things that people need to realize and understand is that, and not just for twin flames, but for anybody in the world, not every relationship is meant to last forever. Every relationship is meant to teach certain lessons and provide certain soul growth for you. And once that is done, it can come to an end. Now, there may be some lifetimes for some people where there's not another lesson meant to happen, so they are able to stay with that person for the rest of their lives. But that's not always the case. Sometimes those relationships, those marriages, are meant to come to an end to bring in the next lesson. And both people have their own soul journeys and have their own processes when it comes to that. So like you as a twin flame, you might be time to move on to your twin flame. The other person, even if they don't have a twin flame, they have someone else that's meant to come into their life. They have a soulmate or someone else, some other soul contract that is meant to come into their life and continue their soul growth process. So don't feel bad or upset or don't feel like a failure if you are ending marriages or long-term relationships, because they are meant to be temporary, and you are not a failure, and you are following your soul path, even though society doesn't understand that, and you're not fucking up your kids. Let me tell you from my experience now, from between my psychology degrees and my spiritual and ascension growth, all people and all children have inner traumas from childhood, no matter what. It does not matter if the parents stay together or break up. There is always something, and staying in relationships that you are not meant to stay in is just going to create a different set of fucked up problems. Everybody has healing to do no matter what. So choose the best path possible. So to wrap that up real quick, don't think that you have to stay in a relationship that is not meant to be anymore because of the kids, because trust me when I tell you that your kids have wounds and psychological and emotional damage from something. Honestly, it can be the most subtle thing you could ever think of. Like, you could have no idea that your kids are receiving some type of trauma that they have to process later in life when you think you're doing like the absolute best by them. Like, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's just the way life works. Like, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you are a helicopter parent, then you're fucking up your kids in one way. If you are a neglectful parent, then you're fucking up your kids in another way. Sorry to say, but that's just the truth. Okay, so it doesn't matter what choices you make other than, being downright abuseful. But honestly, like I said, that's part of your soul contract too. Point being, the best thing you can do for your kids is to role model the best choices, the best behavior, not sacrificing yourself, not role modeling an unhealthy, I don't know if I said that the right way. One of the best things you can do for your kids is to not role model a bad or toxic relationship for them. It is better for them to see you choose a healthy relationship, choose yourself and your happiness. Do you want to teach your kids to be to sacrifice themselves and to be unhappy later in life? No. So hopefully that helps explain that, because I don't want to keep going on, because as it is, I'm already at like 20 videos, but I am just about done. I do need to go back to the spiritual warfare though, and I wanted to explain one more thing before I finish up. So the spiritual warfare is also part of our soul contracts. What is spiritual warfare? Spiritual warfare is black magic, demonic attacks, generational curses, and past life traumas that all have to be healed. And past life traumas do affect you in this current lifetime sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Black magic and demonic entities are targeted, active, current attacks. Generational curses, past life stuff, that is not a current attack, but it still has a residual effect that carries over onto you and for generations or for lifetimes, and that's why it also has to be healed. I need to hold that thought because I don't want to start something with 9 seconds left. I'm backtracking one more time real quick, because when I have to stop it, it plays the beginning of the previous video. I also wanted to say, it's not just about your kids. Your other partner too, you might feel guilty, you might feel bad about hurting them, but understand that you are setting them free for their own soul journey and their own soul path that they are meant to go on. I know I touched on that, but I wanted to explain that a little bit better. Like, You're not meant to be shackled together forever if that's the case. So don't feel bad about freeing them to find their way down their path like they're meant to. And they will understand that later too. They will reach the time where they realize that this was the best thing to happen to them also. Okay, anyway, going back to the spiritual warfare. I don't want to get into all the specifics of my spiritual warfare journey right now, other than I'll tell you that it was 4-5 years, I don't know, I lost count, of defeating a lot of black magic and demonic attacks. And it was extremely hard in the beginning. But what I can tell you, now that I'm at the end of it, I mean, I've been at the end of it since the end of my personal spiritual warfare journey with my twin flame since the beginning of last year. But my soul group has been attacked twice in the last year and this year. And I've been on the periphery of that. I've had to be involved in it, even though it wasn't directly on me and me alone. And what I can tell you in hindsight is that even the spiritual warfare, it's all orchestrated and planned by spirit. It's all part of your soul contracts that your soul agrees to for a purpose. Now, you're not going to understand what that is until you get to the other side of it, because that is teaching you certain lessons. It could be training you. It could be building up your strength. I did talk about how it's preparing you for future battles through ascension, because those of us on warrior paths have greater destinies. Like, it's not just about our twin flame connection and purpose. It's also about our greater destinies in ascension. But even the spiritual warfare is all planned out and orchestrated by spirit, exactly how it's meant to be. There was one or two things that happened in my spiritual warfare journey that basically provided for me the evidence and proof that I needed to prove my theory about that, because I found out some information that was very upsetting for me because of how it affected me in this life. And I asked Spirit why it had to be that way. And what I was told is that it had to be that way so that everything would work out in this lifetime the way that it needed to. And the things that I'm talking about are things pertaining to the soul contracts and soul connections between me, my twin, his karmic, and our children. And it was very difficult. And hold that thought. That was an awkward place to cut me off. But it was not my twin's fault. Let me just say that. It was nobody's fault. But just the way spirit orchestrated certain things to happen for us with the spiritual warfare and how it affected our lives, our 3D existences, it was just very painful for me. I'm the only one really who realizes it. The karmic partner is aware of it, but I don't know if she would consider it painful. She probably considered it an advantage for a little while until Spirit disclosed the information to me and told me something that I needed to do in order to heal an issue. I'm not going to get into specifics because just in case. But Spirit provided me with information to heal the issue. It was pertaining to a past life. It was a past life connection that was enabling her to be able to know things that she shouldn't be able to know, and continue to keep him trapped. And it was happening that way for a reason, for reasons that I probably don't even completely understand yet. But the point isn't about that. The point is that finding that out was a validation for my theory that even the spiritual warfare, it's not something that's happening to us. It's something that our souls agreed to and signed up for as well. And all of it is planned out and mapped out over all of our lifetimes, and the way all of our lifetimes interconnect for a reason. There was something that we went through that I had to heal that was also pertaining to a past life, that it was one issue that was uncovered by a different issue. And so I could see how both things had to happen the way that they happened in order to heal the original root cause. So the first thing happened in our current lifetime. It was something that needed to be healed, an attack that needed to be stopped. And that uncovered the connection to a past life, that in that past life put a hex on us that was causing all of these demonic attacks on us. And after that was fixed and healed and removed, the demonic attacks went away. Imagine that. So that was like the lifesaver. But like everything that we went through that led up to that was a lot to deal with. It all, like all of the puzzle pieces fit together after that, and I just understood everything. And so this is what I'm trying to explain to you, that if you're going through spiritual warfare, that you need to understand that it is also all happening for a reason, and your soul signed up for it for a reason, probably to heal stuff from the past too, so that your twin flame pathways and your ascension pathways are completely open for you to move forward exactly how you are meant to. Okay? So I hope that helps explain that. I want to clarify real quick for anyone who cares that I did fix that problem so that the karmic no longer had that advantage, and she can no longer block my twin from doing what he needs to do. She no longer has that advantage in knowing things. But anyway, so just the last thing that I want to say here is, sorry, I had to think what I wanted to say next. Early on in my spiritual warfare journey, I was about a year in. I was told, this was like, I got my bearings basically. I was told very, very significant information about my soul mission, not just my twin flame journey path, but my soul mission. And it was very overwhelming. And I fell asleep sobbing, praying, asking to God, like, how am I supposed to do this? How is this my path? What, like that big, this is how I was. And I woke up to a direct answered prayer in my Facebook Messenger from a girl who is a born again Christian. She's a seer, which a seer is a Christian psychic, who I had not talked to in years. And she sent me a message that said, Father put your face in my head this morning and told me to message you to tell you that he has big plans for you and he desires to speak to you directly. And as you can see, it's very emotional for me, because if that's not a direct answered prayer, I don't know what is. Very, very early on in my twin flame journey, as a sign of reassurance, when we hit a huge obstacle, right before that happened, I literally saw an angel in the sky. Like, I took a picture of it. I mean, it doesn't look like an angel, but it does look like a body shape. And the sun was already down, so it wasn't the sun. I have received significant signs and messages from God. I had a client send me a message a few weeks ago that says, Spirit wants me to tell you that you've been chosen to bring into the earthly domain unique knowledge for the twin flame mission, and to stop comparing your downloads or information to others, because your knowledge you're receiving is completely original and will not be given to anybody else. Your role is to teach this unique knowledge to others. We consider you a maverick for the divine twin flame mission, and your soul agreed to embark on this. So don't feel that you are not worthy, because you are beyond worthy. And it's obviously still overwhelming. I'm gonna run out of time. Sorry, I did literally get cut off like at the 3-minute mark. Obviously it's still very overwhelming for me even, but I wanted to share this with you guys because I want you to understand where I'm coming from when I'm giving you this information that I'm giving you. Like, I don't understand why I was chosen to be a twin flame teacher, or for the rest of my twin flame and soul mission, which is immense as well. But I was, and so was my twin flame. Although his is different because he's more going to be in support of me, but he has no idea what we've been through or where we're going yet. And obviously, yeah, it is overwhelming, but I wanted you guys to know those significant messages that I have received that are overwhelming to me and mean a lot to me. And I don't even know what else to say right now. I felt that it was important to share that with you guys, because there's a lot of twin flame teachers out there and readers out there. And, these messages and these signs that I've received have given me a lot of validation, that have helped me to have the confidence that I have in every message that I post and record. And I know that Spirit is speaking through me. And funny enough, that direct answered prayer from God where he said he's going to speak to me directly, and I do speak to him directly now. I have been since the beginning of this year. I communicate directly with Spirit with my pendulum now. Like, I can communicate with Spirit clairvoyantly and in meditation, but because of my personality type and needing like proof and validation because of how I was raised, and because maybe it's because I'm Capricorn too, I don't know. But I like a lot of evidence. So I have grown accustomed now to communicating with Spirit with my pendulum, and I always connect directly with Jesus, because after all of the spiritual warfare I've been through, I know that demons will not stay in Jesus's presence, and I also feel that Jesus is the ultimate, or one of the ultimates at the very least, but I actually truly believe the ultimate besides God. And because God exists in the void above the 12th dimension, Jesus exists in the 12th dimension, and he is God incarnated. This is a conversation I had with him, so it's not just coming from Christianity. So now with my pendulum, I always connect to him directly. And since the beginning, since the spring, actually no, it was still winter, but damn it, I'm still gonna run out of time. Hold that thought one more time. Okay, I don't remember exactly where I left off, but I know I was talking about how I'm grown accustomed to connecting with Spirit with my pendulum now. And I will literally like use my chart and have Spirit spell everything out. Kind of like a Ouija board, except not, because Ouija boards were actually created by a dark practitioner and specifically linked to a dark portal to bring demons through. So don't use a Ouija board, okay? Because you're just inviting demons into your life. But no, I use this, which has the numbers and the letters and other stuff. And I literally have Spirit spell everything out for me. I ensure that I cannot influence the pendulum at all, because I take every precaution to both make sure that I'm not affecting it and to make sure that I'm talking to the right spirits. And I always go directly to Jesus, because he is the one that I feel is the most trustworthy. Plus, demons won't stay around him. Although I have interacted with some demons this way also, because demons have been around people around me, and then they try and interfere. But I am capable of recognizing that when I do, and then I just clear them. I'm capable of banishing them. So fine. But anyway, so since earlier this year, like I can't remember exactly, more so than I had already been using my pendulum before this, but it increased a lot in March, that I started having these conversations with Spirit, with Jesus, with my pendulum. And so when I'm all of this like information that I'm telling you about dimensions and ascension and all of the earth school, like all of this stuff, like I have some of it I have learned from spiritual teachers. Like Dolores Cannon is a great resource and one of the most accurate resources out there. Like, he's told me that she's 98% accurate. There's a lot of spiritual teachers out there who are not 98% accurate, I can tell you that, because I check. but I've been communicating with Jesus directly in this way for most of this year, and have had like full on God conversations that are extremely enlightening. So I will share more and more of that information as we go, because I do know that I'm also meant to be an ascension teacher, not just a twin flame teacher. But I just wanted to explain to you like where my information is coming from. Like some of it I'm channeling, like Spirit just talks through me. I have known that Spirit talks through me when I'm doing readings, because people will say, I can't believe you said that. Like, you use the exact words or the exact phrase or something. I'm like, it's Spirit, it's not me. And I can connect clairvoyantly, but I'm also literally like having the messages spelled out for me. So that's where that comes from. I just want you to understand that. I want you to understand what Spirit has told me, and hopefully know that you can trust me. And I don't know what else, and I'm going to run out of time again, and I don't want to keep going on because there's nothing else, but I just felt like Spirit wanted you to know that too. I lied. I didn't like how it cut off. But basically, I felt guided by Spirit to share that information with you guys, for you to have an understanding of where I'm coming from, where my knowledge comes from, whether it's wisdom gained along the way, or Spirit just literally talking through me, or conversations I've had with Spirit. I want you to understand that. I want you to understand that I definitely don't feel like I'm some like badass spiritual expert or something. Like I'm doing what spirit guides me to do, and I'm saying what spirit guides me to say, and I don't feel worthy of it, but I do what I'm told. um because I have that direct communication with spirit, feel free to ask me questions. Like, I will ask and I will get you the answers. But if I don't already know them. But something else, actually, a note that I jotted down, I forgot I wanted to say too, is one other thing I want you to understand. This is more along the lines of personal readings that you get. When you're learning from a teacher, yeah, you do have to use discernment over what feels right to you. And not every teacher is going to be, and nobody is 100% accurate, but not every teacher is going to be 98% accurate, like Dolores Cannon. There's a lot of spiritual teachers out there who are 90-80% accurate, maybe even less than that, depending on the person. I have a list of some, and I keep checking on others. But anyway, but when it comes to, so take that into consideration for broader knowledge. But when it comes to personal readings, it is important for you to understand that spirit is not our friend. Spirit is more like a parent, but even more so like a teacher. Spirit is here to guide you through your soul journey, to help you follow your soul path the way you are meant to. So at any given time, at any personal reading that you get, spirit is going to tell you what you need to hear in that moment to continue down your soul path, to continue down the path that is of the highest light and for your highest best, and is following along with your soul contract and the soul lessons that you signed up for. So remember that for any personal reading that you have, for reasons why they can be repetitive or why they can change, depending on who you talk to as well. It all comes down to your spirit guides, your angels, your higher self, your soul, guiding you down your soul path like you are meant to go. And sometimes the lessons are hard, sometimes the lessons are even cruel. But it's all for your greater good, your own personal greater good. So just remember that, okay? I hope this helps everyone. Let me know if you have any questions. Hi, one last time. I was finally going to bed to rest, and I was thinking about the stuff that I said that I know spirit was talking through me, but I was thinking about it. I was like, what did I sound like? And I just needed to add one more thing real quick. I was raised Christian, but in like high school and college, I went into a period of questioning because there were just certain things about what Christianity teaches that I couldn't get on board with. Like, at the time, I think it was that unborn children and unbaptized children go to hell. I was like, that makes no sense. And also, when I became a stepmother to children teenagers at the time, who did not believe because they weren't raised to believe, but they were not bad people. I couldn't believe that they were going to hell just because they just weren't taught to know any better. And then I thought about how Christianity it might be the most popular religion, but it's still only 1/3 of the world's population. And I felt, I don't believe that 2/3 of the world's population is going to hell because they're not Christian. And so that led me into a period of questioning. I studied world religions in college. Well, I took a course on world religions in college. And I just started exploring spirituality. And I do still go back to my Christian beliefs that I was raised with because I was raised with it. However, I take it loosely. And now that I have gone through this massive spiritual awakening in the last 10 years, and now that I speak directly to spirit, I just have a very different understanding of everything now. And when I say that I talk directly to Jesus, I am not trying to sound like I hotshot or egocentric or spiritual narcissist or anything like that. Like, I honestly solely go straight to Jesus because I have defeated too many demons and I know the dangers that are out there of connecting with the wrong spirits. And I also know how easy it is for the wrong spirits to interfere in your spirit communications, which is actually why you need to be very careful of the readers that you work with, because if they're not protecting themselves properly, they can have interference from evil spirits or just trickster spirits who like to lie and fuck with your head. So that is the reason why I go straight to Jesus. And let me tell you, the first time I connected with him, I burst into tears. Like, I cried. Like, I was like, who am I? I'm not worthy. So please take it the right way. Like, I was not coming from a place of a hot shot or anything like that. Like, I am humbled by this experience. Let's see if I can remember the rest of what I wanted to say, because I rewatched it and some stuff came to mind. Okay, so one of the things is that I learned this from my world's religion class, and I've learned it even more from my spiritual awakening experience, that there is not one path to enlightenment. There is not one way to God, to the way Christians would say it, to being saved. Jesus and Christianity is one way. But that's not the only way. I mean, there is every religion, the Eastern religions, they all have their own paths, and each path is a little bit different. Like, it's about the person and how they are able to connect with spirit and what makes the most sense to them, basically. I'm not going to get into all the specifics right now because I don't have time. But that's why, like, I still stand by my belief that Christianity isn't the one way. And I have gotten that confirmed from Jesus also, by the way. But he really is the Messiah. And I will say that now that I talk to him directly, I am not a psychopath by saying that either. You guys you can't even imagine the spiritual warfare journey that I've been through and all of the experiences that I have had. And it would take approximately 5 hours to explain it to you because I have done it before. And that was without stopping to answer questions. So we're not going to do that. But you guys can't imagine the experiences that I've been through. I know that it sounds crazy for me to be like, I've defeated demons. I talked directly to Jesus. But you guys, like, you don't even know. So anyway, I have to tell you that before my spiritual awakening process began 10 years ago, which really started when I got divorced from my karmic partner, I really wasn't sure what to believe. But now I feel the closest to God and to spirit that I have ever felt. And it's not based on religion. It's based on spirituality. It's based on connecting with God, Jesus, the big guy, however you want to think of it directly. I started off by connecting to my angels, and I expanded to Jesus because growing up Christian, like, he felt like my safety net. And like I have previously explained, like, the safest and highest spiritual being to go to. But there are many ascended masters, and every religion has its own ascended masters. I don't know where all of them are. I know that Jesus is in the 12th dimension. I don't know where all of the others are, if they're also in the 12th dimension or if they are in other dimensions. I'm gonna have to finish this thought in a moment. Okay, I will try and wrap up now. But what was I saying? Oh, I don't know where the other ascended masters are because I haven't asked, but I could ask. You can ask me and I'll ask. And I also know that there's tons of other spiritual teachers who have gotten tons of other information as well. And, I don't even know who they all are, let alone compare myself to them. I don't know. I just know what I'm being told. And I truly take everything that I am being told from spirit. If I get it straight from spirit, I take it as spiritual fact. I don't take it as opinion because it's not my opinion. I am literally going by what spirit is spelling out to me or telling me in another spiritual capacity. But honestly, even if I get it through meditation or clairaudience or something, I still confirm it through my pendulum because I like validation and I like evidence, and that is my evidence. But yes, there are many ascended masters that go back to all of the different world religions. And I just connected with Jesus because I grew up Christian, and like I said, he feels like my safe space and safety net. I also happen to know that my soul has a spiritual history with Jesus as well. which I'm not going to get into, but my soul group does have connections to Jesus in that aspect as well. And like I said, I have discussed with him, I've actually, not only have I discussed with him his life, but I found out that I had inadvertently purchased, without even knowing it, a book that which was channeled from Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And I also, at the same time as I started researching that, I discovered a channeled video message from Mary Magdalene that I had previously watched, but I didn't grasp it at the time. I grasped it when I watched it the second time, like a year later, because I had come into all of this newfound knowledge about Jesus's life. I'm not going to get into all those details right now. I'm going to save that for a future ascension talk. But basically, I've learned a lot about him and his life. I know that he really is the Messiah and really did come here for that purpose. But I also know that through him is not the only way to ascend and to reach enlightenment. It's just one of the ways, probably one of the primary ways. And he is probably the most significant spiritual being, honestly, I truly believe, because I do know that he is God or creator incarnated. But there's a lot more to all of this, and I can't get into all of that because I don't even know all of it. I'm still learning. I'm still being given information. But I'm going to have to do one more video to tell you one more part of the wisdom gained, I guess you can say. So hold that thought. Okay, so the last example that I want to give is one of the mentors that I worked with, didn't just like watch a spiritual teacher's channel or something like that. She told me how when she meditates or does healing work on someone, she is able to see the spiritual beings that she is working with or fighting against. She can see demons. She can also see the angels and the ascended masters. And she has seen Jesus, and she has seen Mother Mary and other ascended masters. And she is not religious. And that was what stood out to me about this testimony that she gave to me, because she is not religious, but she can still vouch for the fact that she knows that Jesus is real, and she knows that Mother Mary and angels and all of this are real. So that did, mean a lot to me in terms of, validation. And speaking of seeing stuff, I know that for the most part that's in the third eye, and usually when I clairvoyantly see stuff, it's in the third eye. But before my daughter started puberty, she was able to see spirits with her physical eyes. And I get flashes in the corners of my eyes. I've seen silhouettes. I do have mediumship. I don't tap into it because it's not my preference for specialty. And I have firm boundaries with spirits, so they can't just like pop in whenever they want. But I have seen some and interacted with some. Usually for someone I know, or the few mediumship readings that I've done that came through well. But in any case, I think the main thing for me to just wrap up saying here is that I just wanted you guys to understand like where I'm coming from, that I don't by any means feel like I know everything, or like I'm a complete expert on all of this, or that I even feel like, it took me it took me until the last year, I should say, to even have the confidence that I have in stating everything like I do now, as if it is fact, and I take it as spiritual fact because I now have the confidence that Spirit is speaking through me for a reason, and I can trust it, and I have validation about it. But it took a long time for me to even have that confidence, because I felt like unworthy and like, why me? But when I talk about, I just wanted you guys to understand my experiences and how I got here to why I so easily am like, I talked to Jesus. I've battled demons. It's nothing to me now because of my experiences. But I'm not like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I have no choice but to wrap up. I hope this helps you guys. I didn't want to do another video because that was it, but I just hate like getting cut off where I can't finish what I'm trying to say properly. And to be honest, I kind of got lost in word search and remembering what I wanted to say. Anyway, so basically I just, I realized that to some extent, I sound crazy. And let me tell you, like, I have a psychology bachelor's and master's, and I'm fully well aware that according to psychology, I'm mentally ill, as well as, all psychics and spiritual teachers, because spirituality is not recognized in science. But I just, I've been through a lot of experiences that I can't fully explain to you guys. And I've come into a lot of this knowledge over the course of time. I can't even document all of the different avenues that it came to me. And like I said, like now spirit talks to me, and now I'm able to communicate with spirit directly. And I have learned to trust it. And it took me a long time to 100% trust it, but I do. Now, I do acknowledge I don't believe that anyone is 100% accurate. I don't believe that I myself am 100% accurate, but I can't know what is and isn't. And I have reached the point where I 100% trust it. So that's all I can go by. You have to take what resonates to you, just like they say with anybody. Okay. Now, sorry, I paused to think. I really think that's everything now, and I don't want to ramble. I just wanted to give you guys some type of explanation to why I sound crazy. I recognize I sound crazy, though. At least there's that. And I can promise you that I'm not. I can promise you that I'm completely 100% sane. I just have been through significant spiritual experiences, and have had direct answered prayers, and have had spirit not just, connect with me directly, but connect with me through others directly. And that has been what has stood out the most to me when I get messages from spirit, like randomly through someone, whether it's a stranger or someone I know. That is what stands out the most to me. And I know that that's credible, even if there's no scientific explanation for it. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to understand where all of this is coming from, that there is basis behind it, and that I'm not crazy. I don't know what else to say, and I'm going to run out of time again. So I hope you guys get it, and, whoever's meant to listen to me will. I hope I help you guys, and have a great rest of your Labor Day.